Tonight at Somewhere, the story unfolding before kickoff felt less like a prelude and more like a cliffhanger. Barcelona managed to get Marcus Rashford and Joan Garcia registered in time for the 2025-26 La Liga opener against Mallorca, and President Joan Laporta made sure everyone knew who he believed had pulled off the rescue, Sporting Director Deco. That public praise was buoyant but pointed. Laporta celebrated the personnel who solved the immediate crisis while also calling attention to a wider problem, calling the registration system a complicated and hinting that this episode was symptomatic of deeper, league-wide friction. The immediate relief is obvious. 2 names added to the matchday sheet give the team more tactical options and lift spirits in the dressing room and in the stands. But the theatre of the moment, frantic paperwork, last-minute approvals, an anxious clock, also leaves a lingering question about stability. Laporta's comments did more than thank a colleague. They sounded an alarm. When a club of Barcelona's resources must rely on an internal scramble to clear players, other clubs watching will recognise the same fragility in their own operations. Even as Rashford and Garcia walked into eligibility, Laporta reminded viewers that other players, Wojciech Szczesny, Rooney Bardghji and Gerard Martin, still face administrative limbo. That reminder transforms tonight from a simple game into an ongoing story about squad balance, strategy and the rules that govern the sport. From a tactical perspective, the availability of Rashford and Garcia could shift plans for this opening fixture, offering fresh attacking thrust or rotation that preserves energy for what promises to be a congested calendar. From a managerial angle, having those options prevents early compromises in selection and allows coaches to test combinations without sacrificing long-term planning. Yet the partial nature of the fix matters. When key names remain uncertified, the club must continue negotiating, shuffling paperwork and preparing contingencies, an administrative burden that distracts from training and tactical clarity. Beyond the locker room, the optics are important. A president publicly crediting a sporting director for saving the club project's competence. But it also telegraphs vulnerability because it shows how much depends on individuals navigating opaque processes rather than on a transparent, smooth system. Laporta's plea for practical solutions was not just rhetoric. It was a call for a structural rethink that would prevent last-minute chaos and create a fairer, more predictable playing field. What unfolds on the pitch tonight will be watched through that lens. If Rashford and Garcia make decisive contributions, this story will feel like a triumphant rescue. If the team stumbles and the absent players become a talking point, critics will point back to the registration mess as a factor. Either way, the incident elevates a usually hidden administrative process into a public debate about competitive integrity and the burdens clubs face in modern football. For fans, the human side remains simple and immediate. The joy of seeing 2 new signings finally available, the hope that the club can translate that relief into an early positive result. For managers and executives, the lesson is less celebratory. Paperwork must be treated as part of squad construction, and league rules must be fit for purpose if the sport is to avoid turning off field processes into matchday headlines. Tonight's narrow escape at Moix's Barcelona breathing room. The next move will be whether the club can turn that breathing room into early points and whether the league will take Laporta's public prompt seriously enough to prevent the next deadline drama.